Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. And don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. Okay, let's get into this video. So there's a full moon that will be happening on August 30th, and let's get into that. So this is the third moon in August. Some call a blue moon. It's more rare because usually we only have two, a full moon and a new moon. So this full moon will be in Aquarius in the Nakshatra Shatabhisha, and that will actually be with Saturn as well, very close, conjunct by sign. Now, Saturn is the lord of the 1st and the 12th house in retrograde. It's also opposing the Sun and Mercury retrograde. So there's a lot going on there. Now, Saturn being so close to the moon, when we talk about mundane astrology, this is an indicator of major disasters, of loss of life, sickness, earthquakes, volcanoes. This could also be the hurricanes because we have Venus in the 6th house of health in Cancer, which is a water sign. And also the moon is the lord of the 6th house, which is disease, unemployment, enemies. And the moon also represents water. So that's why I kind of see that there could be a lot of casualties due to weather events with water and the other ones that I mentioned. Saturn also is sickness, it's illness. Also, it could cause mass casualties because it is both the lord of the 12th, which is losses, and 6th, which is sickness and illness. Venus being in the 6th house in the Nakshatra Astrological in retrograde, it denotes victims and victimizers, and health as well, as it represents doctors, but it's also the pada that has to do with diseases. So these are the reasons why I say that. Astrological has a lot to do with these D words: danger, deceit, deception, destruction, depression, death, delusion, desperation, doom, devious, shady business practices based on lies, criminal activity, anything dealing with poisons, and self-serving politicians and manipulators. Also, psychological issues. So these health issues could have to do with psychology. There also is a feeling of people being depressed. Whenever Saturn is very close to the moon in a chart, when it's transiting, it's called Shawtee, and it usually is a very difficult time in someone's life. Not always, but it usually is, because the moon is your emotions and Saturn is limiting. It can make you feel depressed, more down. It can make you feel overworked. So it is showing that a lot of people are feeling in this type of way. Now, the 6th house is also armies, it's civil servants, labor unions, it's debt as well. Venus is also the lord of the 4th and the 9th house, showing that land matters could be taken by courts in unfair ways. Debts from homes increase due to new laws is a possibility. It can also indicate long distance travel problems as well. And K2 is in the 9th house, which shows this as well. So there are a lot of travel problems because of Mercury retrograde is another indication of that, and which we'll get into. Saturn being close to the moon, it can show us a harsh reality that we didn't see before. This could have to do with the medical system, health, death, the media and entertainment industry. Saturn is the harsh truth. So sometimes we come to a realization and it kind of stops us in our tracks. The moon is the masses, it's the population, it's women, it's real estate, it's all matters of public. So these can feel restricted, limited. Some may feel depressed, like I said, overworked. This could also be the housing crisis. It can really indicate that there could be some hardships, some limitations, the realization that patience and hard work may be necessary at this time. This could also have to do with a lot of people going back to school, going back to work, and feeling this way, but it also is an indicator of mass casualties. Chronic ailments could be on the rise, but also the illusion of it. I think a lot of people know what I'm saying when I say that, but just so that I don't say too much on YouTube. The 9th aspect of Rahu is on the Sun and retrograde Mercury, which is illuminating and communicating to us a truth that we need to hear concerning these health matters and leadership and those in government. Mercury retrograde is bringing confusion. It's bringing possible problems with travel, the internet, stock market, crypto, and it's in Leo, so it could have to do with children. It could have to do with education. Right now, we're seeing schools being closed due to new variants in the US. So this is also something that I mentioned in my Mercury retrograde video, which you can check out as well, where I go into detail and depth about this. Now, Mars is also in Virgo in the 8th house, which is making us really analyze things that need to transform. This could have to do with death and health matters as well. Mars is also aspecting the 3rd house, causing problems or even deaths in travel. This could be due to fires, an increase in fires. And I will have a video about that about September. The nodes are approaching a certain critical point, the Gandanta point, but also the point after that. And this was in 2005, the California fires. So the fires will continue and could get a lot worse. The video in September will come after this one, so check back and I will explain that in detail. Now, Shatabhisha has to do with health matters. It simply translates into 100 physicians, 100 medicines, or possessing 100 healers. Also, possessing 100 stars. So the stars are the symbol of the Nakshatra. It also is the lights that you see. The stars are also the lights that you see when you're on stage, because it's about containment. It's about containing something. And it's in Aquarius, which is in front of a population, being contained with the lights on top of you. It also represents the lights that are focused when a doctor is doing surgery. So that's why it has to do with doctors as well, but also people who are in the public. Michael Jackson, for example, was Shatabhisha native. Like I said, it's about containment, it's about concealing, secrecy, protection from outside forces, like a stage, but it's also segregation, hiding thoughts, motives, or anything else. This is how it gets its power. It creates walls, it creates boundaries. With the health issues coming up, I really hope that has nothing to do with that. I hope these are separate things, but it could be an indication. It also represents the modern media, which is great at concealing facts and twisting the facts from the public. Now, remember, it's ruled by Rahu, and it's giving us the illusion of truth and covering it up, the reality, for its own benefit. Saturn will be in the Pada, which is ruled by Sagittarius. It's about beliefs, it's about court system, and the truth. It's also in a fire sign, showing us that this could be casualties due to fires. Maybe we learn of more casualties. There's still fires going on, so a lot to do with that. There's a lot boiling up as we get closer to eclipse season, which is going to be starting in October. October 14th will be the first one, and that will be in Virgo. And the nodes will change in November. So the nodes are in one sign for about 18 months, and then they change, and then this completely changes a lot of themes in our lives. K2 will be going into Virgo, and K2 is loss, and it can be casualties as well. It's many other things, spirituality and things like that. But Virgo is health, and Rahu will be in Pisces. This can be leading up to a lot of health issues that we'll see in the fall, but also many will turn their backs on the medical system and turn towards alternative ways of healing, spiritual ways of healing, as deaths rise and the truth is also revealed. The moon, it falls into the second pada, which is in a Capricorn Navamsha. Capricorn is an earth sign, symbolizing everything on the earth plane. It's also government, so a lot of issues dealing with government. And it makes me wonder if something could be also revealed about the moon landing that recently occurred, because this has to do with the stars. Now, Shatabhisha has to do with the following professions. We'll see a lot to do with those who work with electricity, technology, those who work with radar, X-ray experts, chemotherapists, astronauts, astronomers, astrologers, space research, anything to do with that, pilots, radio operators, martial arts instructors, rockets, space engineering. So that's why I was kind of thinking that it could have something to do with that. Anybody in film, TV, this could be movie stars, this could be artists as well, trendsetters, photographers, nuclear physicists, physicians, the pharmaceutical industry, pharmacists, surgeons, anything in health professions, and the distribution of alcohol, production and distribution of alcohol, drug dealers. So the alcohol thing kind of reminds me of previously how a lot of beer companies were getting canceled. So we could see more coming up with that. Prostitution, drugs, we could see overdoses come up as well. The petroleum industry, automobile industry, because there are a lot of things to do with travel with the Mercury retrograde happening until September 15th. So a lot of issues of travel coming up. And this is also yoga, meditation, and Zen experts. There could be a lot of hard work if you're in these areas. Maybe now you get very busy, and that is good for your business as well. Maybe if you're an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, this could be just hard work because you're busy. This also has to do with a lot of hospitalizations, illness, treatments of these things, herbal treatments, alternative ways of healing. So the best way to deal with this has to do with meditation. It has to do with yoga. So these are actually the ways that you can filter this energy through you in a positive way. Doing research about, maybe you're into astrology, researching about astrology, researching about yourself. This will help you a lot. Also, having this aspect with the Sun and Saturn completely opposing each other. Now, they're enemies, right? So some could actually feel silenced by leaders or people in authority or people on the throne, or this could be your boss. This could be any type of authority over you. If you have some type of authority, you could feel suppressed or overworked at this time. And also anyone in entertainment or civil servants with this aspect of Saturn, it can show an illness or a death of a leader being let go. It can show that as well. And there's also a clash between the civil servants and the leaders in charge. This has to do with the condition of the country, the rulers, public health, national disasters. Also, wars, crimes, foreign affairs with other countries, foreign trade and policies, marriages, because Venus is 12th from the 7th house. Because Venus is in retrograde right now, there are a lot of couples going through a lot of things. There's a lot of people that have to face demons, face their fears, because Venus is in Ashleisha. It's about facing your fears. It's almost done the retrograde. Once it's done the retrograde, we're done with the healing. We're going to go past it again. All the demons will have to resurface, but then once we get into Leo, then we're healed and we're ready to move on. So whatever you're going through that may be difficult at this time, that is Venus related. That could be your relationship, that could be money, that could be business, anything that's happening that's bringing up wounds. Just remember that we're here to heal it, because it will be back in that same spot 8 years from now. And if you heal it now, then it's done and you're good to go. This could also have to do with any creative pursuits that you may have. That could be writing, that could be anything mercurial. It will feel that it's at a slow pace just because of the aspect of Saturn. The Saturn opposed Sun also, you can feel like you're not accomplishing things, or it's just like, why is it taking so long? You may feel a little bit down about that, or like I said, criticized by leaders, or self-doubt, depression emerges. And this could also have to do with labor strikes. There could be any type of strikes. Usually this happens. And this could have to do with any mercurial jobs, communication jobs, writing. That's like the writer's strike, anything to do with that. Or technology, because it has the aspect of Rahu. So that's just a little bit that I see. And I really appreciate you watching. And I'll see you in the next one.